Hello everyone. I've decided to give my informative speech on constitutional law. So, what is it? It's a process. Constitutional law involves the interpretation and application of the U.S. Constitution and each state's constitution. In practice, interpretation gets complicated. The U.S. Constitution contains less than 4,400 words, which seems like a lot, but it's somewhat vague, so it's hard to interpret and apply when everyone has their own opinions of what it really means. The states' constitutions are more detailed and defined. Constitutional law defines the structure and function of the government and the relationships between the government and individual Americans. It also defines the relative powers of the national and state governments. So what does it do? What is its purpose? It provides a language and a forum for the debate of important issues. It prohibits the government from taking unconstitutional actions. In other words, the Constitution ensures that the laws passed do not violate constitutional limits. For example, the government cannot take action against freedom of religion. So how does constitutional law work? It is difficult to define and it gets very complicated. Like I was saying before, the interpretations are very different. So lawyers interpret the Constitution in a way that will benefit their client. Juries and judges listen to both sides and must make their own interpretation and apply that to their decision. Supreme Court justices apply their views and decide if the argument is constitutionally sound. They have the power to redact or add to our rights, with many checks and balances in place. For example, the overturning of Roe v. Wade. A lawyer with expertise in constitutional law focuses on the meaning and limitations of state or federal laws. So why do we need it? Why do we need constitutional law? It kind of seems like a silly question. We need it to provide security and protection and to empower the government to do things that we cannot do as individuals. We must also limit the power of the government so that democracy and freedom are upheld. So how does it impact me? And to try to understand constitutional law, it seemed very overwhelming and just like a daunting thing to try to understand. But what it really came down to was limiting and empowering the government. And that's what we need to sustain democracy, right? So our basic rights as Americans are determined by the Constitution. The application of these rights determines precedents for future generations of Americans. All in all, constitutional law upholds democracy and keeps our governmental system together and keeps the people from losing their rights. And it is one thing in our government that we know really works for the people, or at least it's supposed to. It also upholds American values such as life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Thank you all for watching.